Oh, what is up? Anyone who is here, which it looks like nobody yet. So,
I see a question over there.
yeah. What you got for us? Our Pete. Repeat. Hey, I like. We could call that a repeat. Our Pete. Hi guys. Happy Sunday. Thanks. DT League. Should I start Derek Brown or Jalen Holmes? Ooh, that is an interesting one. I don't
Spicy.
really. I don't even really know who Jalen Holmes is. I'll be completely honest.
I was same boat. So
I know who Derek Brown is, but only because he's a rookie.
right. Well, and first rounder, all that, but
Let's look into this old fella here. And who's his matchup? We'd have to find that out as well. I don't even see a Jalen Holmes. There he is. Found him.
Found him, huh?
Ooh, Ravens, huh? No, Vikings. 34 total tackles, no sacks, 2 pass defended, 2 tackles for loss. Nothing really jumping out at you there. Holy shit, there's a lot of people saying what's up. I would probably go Derek Brown.
I lean the same way.
They do get Denver, right? And Denver's line is a mess right now. They're just starting another backup guard or some shit.
Yeah, a lot better matchup there.
What up, Z-Mags? Dude, I don't know if you guys can see what those are. There's no emojis on mine. I can tell they're supposed to be, though. What's up? Yo, what's up, Fantasy Football Hustler? You know me and Steve were getting a little blowed for you earlier, so good morning. Would you stream Todd Davis? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it with Kendricks out.
He had 11 tackles last week total. Nothing like crazy big, but I mean, that's double digits. That's good
Big
shit.
enough.
I wouldn't stream him as like a 1. I would if you have to, like, and Blake Martinez is a go today, apparently, I saw. So I wouldn't like put him in over Blake Martinez still. Like, he's still he's a streaming option. I mean, obviously.
Right.
Christian Kirksey or Blake Martinez? Ooh, this is tough.
Blake for me. Easy.
This is tough, I say. He just dunks it. No, I agree though, too. I agree too.
I hate Kirksey. I'm a Packers fan. I hate the guy. So
really, he hasn't done much for IDP. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
This year,
I mean,
he's had good seasons in the past, but
yeah. Well, and a lot of people were high on, kind of me included, high on the fact him reuniting with Pettin. He was his DC when he was going off in Cleveland, and he just kind of, between injuries and that Packers defense is just trash to begin with. He just hasn't really picked up like you'd expect. But Martinez is an awesome matchup against the Cardinals this week. So
Martinez is such an underrated player too. Like I said something, I tweeted something last night. Man, I was on some late night tweets last night. I was up late last night because we went Christmas shopping. But I was tweeting something about Jabril Peppers, and I said something about Blake Martinez too. But it's funny because a few defenders, they got a lot of flack last year for being, not very good, just okay, even bad. Jabril Peppers, Blake Martinez, and Logan Ryan. And we have a surging Giants defense right now that's being led by these 3 guys, So it's interesting how quickly things change in the NFL. It's one of my favorite things to remember is just how quickly narratives can change.
Yeah, well, and I think the big thing with Blake Martinez especially is, like, he was bad in Green Bay. Like, his coverage and all that was terrible. And I will say that I think he has improved, and it's kind of like, okay, well, proof that our defensive coordinator sucks. Can't get a defense to be on the same page and all that. And it's just, it's a shame. Now it's like we were all down on him, like, oh, maybe it's a Blake problem. And it's like because the middle linebacker's responsible for so much. But
yeah, I would play Blake Martinez there as well. I mean, he's pacing for another great season. We know what he is through and through. So got one here from Leaf S139 on the Periscope. Olakun, Kirksey, or Edmonds, 4 point per tackle. Damn,
that's wild.
Yeah, get it. I'm going Olakun.
I'm the same way.
He's just been so good this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he puts up double-digit tackle games. He puts up, impact plays, forced fumbles, and pass deflections, sacks even.
Yeah. He hits every column,
Exactly. You're right. He hits it all. Nothing against Edmonds. I think Edmonds has been a little overhyped since he even came in the league. He's a great linebacker, IRL, but as far as like a number, a stat patter, he's not that guy.
Yeah,
it's not yet.
Yeah, for sure. I think the spot to roster is whoever's next to him. Whether it's Milano, Klein's been on a tear this season when Milano's been out, and I was kind of sad. I hate to say it, but I kind of sad to see Milano come back because now Klein's value's gone almost.
And you can't even play either of them either. They just feed into each other.
Because they're splitting it right now.
Exactly. I said this week on, I said it on my show or whatever, that Milano is a break the glass guy right now. Like, I have him on so many teams, and I want to play him because I know what he can be in any given week. But I also know that this is the second time he's come back from injury this season, so it means he's been out of my lineup for a reason. And the snaps, they eased him back in last week, so he's a break the glass IDP flex, unfortunately, right now. Edmonds, you can obviously play every week. Todd Davis, a top play. I don't think he's a top play. Let me see if I can find him in my rankings here for this week. What would you put him, like a low end linebacker 2?
Yeah,
I would play Wilson over him pretty
easily. Yeah, low end 2, high 3, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm not huge on the matchup either. So, but
there you go. Todd, John McDough, what up? All right, spot SBK from the old YouTube. Levante, David, Miles Jack, Joe Schobert, Neville Hewitt, or Olakun. Just pick one. Oh my gosh.
It's stacked.
I know. We're going to pick the wrong one.
You almost can't go wrong.
Yeah. That's the thing, though. We will.
Right. For sure. Well, right. Obviously. But odds are stacked against us in all fairness. But I would let me take a look here.
That's tough. Miles Jack's got Tennessee. Levante David's got the Vikings. Joe Schobert's got Tennessee. All three of those guys are in my top 10 this week. Olakun, he's at 13. He's got the Chargers. Man, and then I got Hewitt a little bit lower than that, but Hewitt should be an every week play, and he gets the Seahawks. We know the Seahawks can sustain a drive, so there should be plenty of defensive snaps to be played. And I mean, it's the Jets; they're gonna live on the field. So it's I have him the lowest. It's hard for me to. Oh, this is tough.
I think I'd go Olakun again.
Yeah,
I think it's close, but I think that'd be my preference out of that group.
Nice.
And you said it with the Jets being on the field all the time. They run the second most defensive snaps per game in the league, so they are out there a ton.
Yeah, if you are a snap fetish person, take the snaps. That's the easy out.
Well, right. I mean, I look at those like crazy. That's one of my favorite analytics because it kind of builds the opportunity aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of look at where they're distributing the ball and how they run their offenses, and that kind of puts certain players in the right spot. Exactly. So.
Yep. All right. Well, you got Olakun. The highest guy in my rankings right now is Miles Jack, but I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those guys, my man.
Yeah.
So go Olakun. Screw it. Ride. Sorry about that, but appreciate you guys. Hey, no problem, McDough.
Appreciate you, buddy.
John McDough. What about him over Shaq Thompson? Shaq Thompson's coming off this injury, right? So.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
He was on COVID IR too, but that was a close contact. But he was injured too. Okay. I would go. Are we talking Davis over him?
Yeah, I guess that too. Yeah,
I would go with Davis over him. I'm not a huge Thompson fan to begin with, but.
Yeah, I thought he would do a lot better this year.
I just don't think he's that guy. I think he's a good 2. But they're expecting a lot out of him, and I just he's a fine player, but I don't think he's that run everything guy. I just don't. So.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, and it seems like they have found that guy in Jeremy Chin. So,
big fan of Chin.
Steve and I were right next to him on the field at the Senior Bowl, and we were going to talk to him, and for whatever reason, we just didn't. And he's one of the few guys that I wish we would have put a little more effort into speaking.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's good.
Favorite defensive rookie. He's creeping into my favorite defensive players all around, and I think he's going to end up in that top tier of DBs if he's not already.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. I mean, in top 10 dynasty rankings, he should definitely
Easily.
be there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can make a case for him to move into that top 5 over some of these guys that are starting to age out a little bit, like Landon Collins, maybe, or even in my opinion, like a Derwin James. But
my heart.
I know Landon Collins.
Big Collins fan.
Yeah, I'm a big Peppers fan though too. Here's this guy.
Sure.
John says again, I think Peppers would be a good fill-in for LB. He is great size and stuffing ability. Yeah, I mean Peppers has been awesome this season. That was my late night tweet last night. Was I said Jabril Peppers has got 10 pass deflections this season,
I saw that,
which is double what he had last year. All which is crazy. And we still got grass in front of us for days.
Yeah,
he's having a great season. He's after having a terrible start to the season. What do you have, like 20, 22 points through the first 4 weeks?
Well, he was hurt,
Yeah, and he got hurt
for injury. Yeah.
And now he's put up like 5 or 6 games in a row where he's averaging like 25 points. Like he has shot up the board. He's a top 10 guy right now, defensive back, after starting the season like bottom 100. I mean, it was just bad. So I'm proud of him for coming up. I'm proud of him for making me look good. I'm proud of him for actually advancing as a player. So we love Jabril Peppers around here. Me and Steve do. Love the discussion. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Share, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Hi, please pick 2. What up, Lucas? Logan Ryan, Mike Hilton, James Bradbury. Thanks.
Logan Ryan's up for sure for me.
Yeah, he's
the other two I'd probably lean Hilton personally, but I could go either way. It's pretty close for me.
I agree. I lean Hilton. Although, was he injured again? No, it's Hayden.
No, he just came back, so he's should be full go, and I think he's been back a couple games full go. So I think he's, not, with an injury or anything like that. Not dealing with anything currently. But I think it's close. I mean, I'd probably lean Hilton more than a little, honestly, but.
Fair. I'm with you there 100%. Hilton and Logan Ryan. We know the upside Mike Hilton has. No shade on James Bradbury. He's got a ton of pass deflections this year, which we love, but you can't take out Logan Ryan. And if you're going for the absolute upside, you got to take Mike Hilton. So
for sure.
Derek, what up, bruh? Says pick 1, TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews. Oh, I'm definitely taking Hawkinson.
I'm Hawk as well.
Yeah. Mark Andrews has been a huge disappointment.
Sad.
Yeah. It is sad.
Yeah.
And I mean, somehow he's still a top 5 tight end, which again is like
it's that landscape.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's it just further shows again, like we said before the show came on, we were talking about Aaron Donald. For all y'all, I'm a little bit. I don't know if Aaron Donald's the best defensive player in the league. Then I think we should talk about Travis Kelce as the best offensive player in the league because of how much better they are than the next guy at their position. And once you even go down that list to 3, 4, and 5, they're just exponentially better. So that's kind of my take on Aaron Donald and Travis Kelce. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. What we got here? Leaf again. Harrison Smith or Eric Rowe?
I actually like Eric Rowe as a sneaky play this week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sneaky snart.
A sneaky boy.
Who's he get this week? Miami.
He's got Kansas City.
Ooh.
Work the ball deep and high pass rate. Yards per attempt, all that.
I got Harrison Smith pretty high this week. I mean, Tom Brady he's prone to throw those INTs these days. And Harrison Smith has been ball hawking the past couple of weeks. So I kind of I like both of them, but I would play Harrison Smith personally.
Yeah.
And Harrison Smith's another guy that started out the season kind of slow and quiet.
Right.
But he's come on hot here towards the end.
It's true.
Billy the Kid 405. Yo, what up, brah? From the YouTube world. Need one at DB spot. Patrick Queen, Dre Greenlaw, or Harvey Lange. I think I actually just got this question from him earlier today. I'm going Patrick Queen.
Second.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing against the other two, and it's nothing against, if you're a purely snap-based answer question person, the answer is not Patrick Queen.
It'd be Lange. Yeah.
That's why you have to go deeper than just snaps in IDP.
Right.
That's what I always.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we try to tell our audience all the time, because there are people that literally just answer everything based on snaps, and that's one way to play fantasy football, I guess, and one way to play IDP. But I don't think that is. I know there are intangibles that can't be quantified and put into spreadsheets, and that's scary to some people. But Patrick Queen's a playmaker in a way that Harvey Lange isn't.
Right.
Give me that on 80% of snaps all day long.
Yeah.
Josh, what up, man? Man, we've seen Josh like 5-6 weeks in a row in here. Shauna, are you in here somewhere? Say hello if you are. I got disqualified from playoffs in 2 weeks last week because of McKendricks. McKinney? McLaren? Oh, Kendricks.
Yeah,
he
that's what I was
doesn't want it in C. Okay, I'm like my brain. I'm like thinking McKissick over here. Dang, that sucks, dude.
That's a combination of two names there.
And we didn't even find out he was out till like literally the game had started. Like it wasn't like late scratch. It was like they're taking the field and he's not taking the field with them.
Yeah, I thought it was at like first play was it what?
It was in the warm-ups, but like they didn't say anything. Like there was no Schefter tweet, there was no rap for me, nothing until like the game had started, and they were like, "We're just hearing that Kendricks isn't playing." Yeah, that sucks, Josh. I'm sorry. I lost my most important league by like 4 points because Terry McLaren decided to go out and have his worst game of his career last week, after basically never having a bad game in his career. So. Life goes on, my friend. There's always next year. We're here with you.
It hurts.
Silverback is back. Pete Queen or Jay Collins? Ooh, these are two very interesting guys because they both kind of have a similar like play style and profile. They are playmakers. They're not necessarily huge tackle getters, but they are playmakers. They can get sacks, pass deflections, interceptions, the whole gamut. And they're both playing, abbreviated snaps most of the time. Has Collins been playing a little bit more recently? Maybe. I feel like I saw like he played like maybe 97% this last week, but
yeah, I think I go Collins just slightly. Nah, I mean
Collins versus
close.
Green Bay.
Yeah, I love Collins, and Green Bay will control the ball. Yeah. Queen gets the Browns.
Yep.
Queen's big game of the season, that start of the season, though, was against the Browns. Not saying like that like is indicative of anything, but I mean, it's interesting, and they run the ball a lot.
Yeah, they do. I like that.
I don't think you can go wrong with either.
Yeah, kind of a toss-up.
I'm probably going to go Patrick Queen just because I could not bear to lose with Patrick Queen on my bench.
Fair. I'll give you that.
And that's kind of how, like, sometimes I'm just like, if I lose because of somebody, who do I want it to be? Like, if I lose and Patrick Queen's on my bench, like, I'm going to get fucking dunked on in the group chat. Like, you're an idiot. Jamie Collins is on my bench. Like, they're going to be they're going to be like, oh, well, I wouldn't have played Collins either. It's like, okay, we can all move on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not throw salt on the wound. Russell Mavis, what's the update with Isaiah Simmons and Devondre Campbell with their injuries? We trust one of them or the other. I saw that Isaiah Simmons was good to go.
Yeah, he's expected to play. And then Campbell, I haven't seen anything on, but, I think it's that, Simmons has a little more shine to him, so they're more likely to put out any news on him. But
Simmons it's worth noting, Simmons on the old Sleeper app, shout out Sleeper, the greatest fantasy football platform that exists. He's DL eligible, so you can just sneak him on in there and just hope for the best. I mean, that's what you're doing with most of your defensive line players anyway. So
true, more often than not,
you could do a lot worse. And he's like one of the only that's like a little like cheat they have on there. If they're dual designation, he's like the only middle linebacker guy who has that DL eligibility. There's a few outside linebackers that have the DL eligibility, you know what I mean? But he's kind of like that. He's like the most unique secret on Sleeper. If they keep it that way. I know they made a big update this last season right before the season started. They may do that again this next year, so I'm not saying like count on that going forward, but it's possible. Lunch Table Legend back again. What's up, my man? Happy birthday, boy. Oh, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, boys. Good luck to everyone. Start 4, Alex Singleton, Foy Olakun, Neville Hewitt, Patrick Queen, Jalen Smith. Bob, I'm going to defer to you first.
That's tough, man. Of course you have to defer to me.
I know.
Is it bad that like I almost want to sit Smith?
Yes, that's really bad.
And
That's terrible.
don't sit your
What are you
stud.
talking about?
I know.
You wanna oh my gosh.
But what's your reason behind
But
it?
I mean, I
understand.
understand it.
Just
I
kind of,
understand it.
he's just been, not awesome.
Yeah.
I think
It has been.
I would rather, like you said previously, if you're gonna sit one that you're gonna be like okay with sitting, I'd probably lean towards Hewitt.
Mhm.
Singleton's been on fire, for the most part.
Yeah.
And then I mean it's tough with that group. It's just it's
I understand it.
It's more indicative of that group, not necessarily just that, I just kind of like how that group plays together as opposed to with Smith, and that, I have Smith in a ton of lineups of my own and I'm like not wild about it this week. I don't know. I'd probably lean Hewitt or Smith personally.
Nice. I have two thought processes on it. My one thought process is, okay, of all those guys that are there, who's the most likely to get benched for being a huge fuck up? Jalen Smith. Okay, so that plays into it. Then there's the other side of it, which is, again, like I said, who am I going to feel like an idiot when I lose and who's on my bench? That is also Jalen Smith, my dynasty linebacker 3, who I never shut up about. So if he's on my bench and I lose because he's on my bench, I'm an idiot. So, and he also plays Cincinnati, who's not going to be moving the ball, though, because they're a depleted offense. So there's two ways to look at that. Are they going to be more turnover prone because it's being run by a clown who's new and a poorly, put together offense at this point? So there's big play upside there. Flip side of that, this offense is going to have a lot of 3 and outs. Maybe if, this could be a matchup where the Cowboys defense actually looks competent. So there's like a lot of variables with Jalen Smith, which make it really hard for me to sit him because there's just as many good as bad outcomes, I feel like.
Sure.
So of that group, he's probably the most interesting one to consider sitting, but I would probably sit Patrick Queen of that group. And I know I just said, Patrick Queen's awesome and all that, but again, he's, if we're going to play the snaps and upsides and all that, that's a stacked setup right there. And I want Jalen Smith a part of that lineup. I don't want him out. I like Hewitt a lot. He's been on fire lately. Olakun's on fire. Smith's on fire. Patrick Queen's been the guy who's up and down. And then when you flip it over to like the early Jalen Smith argument, most likely to get benched of the group, Patrick Queen is the second most likely to get benched for letting something bad happen because he's a rookie. So that's my thought process. I'm probably benching Patrick Queen. That was a long-winded one. That was tough. Man, we are behind on these questions. I'm sorry, everyone that is listening. I'm failing you all. John McDoe, what up? Cameron, again, man, you keep
Curl
today. Curl,
man. I'm a big curl guy.
You get your curls in at the gym?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm big on curl too, but I still got let me see. I got curl a little higher this week over Sorensen. So yeah, I'll stick with my rankings. I won't disagree with you. All right, man. I don't know what that is. Amat Garntab from the YouTube. Bubby's. Okay. What? Thanks.
Bread, baby.
Maybe I should screen these before I click them. Good morning, gentlemen. I need help with my flex. Options are Xavier Howard, AJ Klein, KJ Wright, or David Onyemata. With my flex, huh? Man, I'm playing KJ Wright or Klein.
Those two.
I'm going right.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I'm leaning right.
Tell you what, Xavier Howard's a nice flex play if you need somebody, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it, but he's playing the Chiefs, right? I mean, Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I know Xavier Howard does catch them, but I don't know. I'm playing right.
Yeah. My big issue with Klein is just the snap share. It's going to be when Milano came back the first time, they split about 66-33, and then both for 2 games, and then when he came back last week, same deal. 66, 33, and then I imagine it'll be the same this week. If not for the rest of the season. I just, you never know. It seems like this injury has been almost where he should have just been shut down all year, and that Klein would have been great all year. But, it is what it is. You got to put your best players you feel on the field as much as you can. In the NFL, it sucks for fantasy, but, I get it.
And they have an incentive to keep Milano healthy because that defense as a unit plays better when Milano's out there.
Sure.
Yep. And I mean, nothing against Klein, who's putting up numbers, but Milano he's a very unique linebacker. And he's, you can just see that difference is that defense is just different when he's not out there as far as being able to actually stop drives.
Yeah.
Which is what that defense is kind of built around. FA87 from the YouTube, starting Montez Sweat looking good lately. How y'all feeling about him? Thanks. Man, we love Montez Sweat. I love Montez Sweat. I've got him right behind Chase Young in my dynasty rankings. He's a top 5 DL for me, even above some names that are a little bit older. I just love him. He puts up all kinds of numbers in the auxiliary stats. He's had 2 game-winning pass deflections the past 2 weeks. One was returned for a touchdown by himself. One he batted, which forced an interception, which took out the Steelers. I mean, he's a playmaker. And he's overshadowed by the bigger names on that defense, which is Chase Young, basically. But he is, at this point, he's just as good as Chase Young. I mean, Chase Young has, Chase Young's got 4.5 sacks on the season. Montez Sweat's got way more, and they're playing Young more than him too. So,
and Sweat, like you mentioned, stuff stats elsewhere too. And I think when I look at defensive players, that's what I like to see. I like to see a wide variety of stats, whether it's, like you said, pass defenses or, besides tackles just tackles for loss is a big one.
Yep.
When you can stuff all those, it means you're around the play, like the active play as it's happening. You're around the ball. You're more likely to, make these plays, these forced fumbles, all that. And the more you're in the play, the more you're going to stuff stats. So it's simple.
Perfect example of that is last year, the rookie DL class was huge. I mean, there were so many good guys, but like the guys who highlighted the class, especially for IDP, were Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, and then Josh Allen, because they all basically hit 9 to 10 sacks. They all had really good seasons, put up, over 40 tackles. Quietly, Montez Sweat had more tackles than all 3 of them last season. He had 6 sacks. That's why it wasn't really noticed as much, but he was producing, like you said, in other places. And if you could see that happening, and he's doing it this year, he's got a higher tackle floor than Chase Young, even though he's playing less snaps than Chase Young, and he's getting more auxiliary stats than Chase Young. And he's had 2 game-winning plays the last 2 weeks for that team. So, yeah, we love Montez Sweat. I love Montez Sweat. I've been considering putting him ahead of Chase Young in my dynasty rankings, but I just feel like that would just be like me being like, look at me. But that's honestly, but that's like how I feel. So it's really tough because I'm already like the jackass who is the contrarian all the time. So I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on that.
Sure.
So I'll assimilate with the herd on some things. All right, Fred Warner, Nick Kwiatkowski, Neville Hewitt, or Terrell Adams. Pick 2 from Z-Mags. What up, my brother?
Hewitt and Adams for me, personally.
Interesting. I like. Yeah, I mean it's hard to sit Kwiatkowski or Fred Warner, but I think that makes sense. I would I would play Fred Warner, even though I'm not even a big, huge Fred Warner guy. Like I would play Fred Warner, and I would probably play Neville Hewitt. And again, that's one of those things where it's probably just maybe that's bad analysis, but it's come down to I don't want to lose with Fred Warner on my bench and him this is the game he gets a sack and an interception, because that's what Fred Warner does. He doesn't do anything, and then all of a sudden he blows up, and he hasn't blown up yet this year, really. So he's due, and it was a late season blow up last year as well. So I think he had his 2-sack game was week 11 or week 12, and I know that was a big boost to his overall finish to the year. So, and we know he's got that upside. But Terrell Adams as well. I mean, he's seeing more snaps than Cunningham is right now. Yeah. Well, Cunningham is an interesting guy because he's always kind of been an up and down snap guy.
Sure,
I feel like nobody's really noticed it until recently. I saw what's his name? I forget his name on Twitter. Draft Shark something or other. He said something about Cunningham snaps have been dipping. I'm like, well, Cunningham snaps have never been the model of consistency, though. I mean, they've rarely ever hit 100. And when they do, that's kind of the outlier, really. I mean, he comes off the field a lot, but he always makes tackles. He has the second most solo tackles in the league right now, and he's That is playing games with 60% of snaps and 70% of snaps. I mean, he's efficient. He knows what his job is, and he gets it done. So Terrell Adams, yeah, if the snaps are the difference maker for you, Terrell Adams has been a good player, but we're kind of getting in the weeds there again, which I just love talking IDP. So we're gonna keep helping you guys answer your questions. Sorry, we're a little slow. Matt Triggins here too. IDP flex, Terrell Adams again versus the Bears, or Alex Singleton versus the Saints. I'm going Singleton there.
I think I tend to agree.
I mean, both the quarterback situations suck.
Yeah, both quarterback situations, but I trust the offensive situation of the Saints just better, though.
Yeah, I mean, they've been okay.
Just okay?
Okay. I mean, I don't know. They win the games. The Saints win the games, but...
Yeah, true. Isn't that really annoying how the Saints just win games?
Yeah, they just, I mean...
I hate it. I'm sitting Jalen Smith. All right, you do you, King. That was my gut reaction. Playoff time. Yeah, throw it all out the window. Let's get crazy. Sit your studs. No, I'm just kidding. Good luck, man. Tune back in. Leave us a comment on this show or hit us up on Twitter. Let us know how it goes.
I mean, get punched in the gut.
Screenshot us that win or that loss.
Yep.
Just Lurking is back. What up, man? Morning, everyone. Someone dropped Nicholas Morrow, maybe, I think, or Nick Morris this week. Do I plug him in over Poyer, 1 DB spot? Okay, you don't plug anybody in over Jordan Poyer.
No.
Unless it's Jamal Adams
or Buda Baker.
Or maybe Jabril Peppers or Shin. That's it. Those are the only guys that should even be in the same sentence as Jordan Poyer. I hope that helps. Right.
I think that. Right. Okay. Wrong? No, I don't know what I'm saying.
Right, wrong, left, right. What up, Jared?
Did he have a question before?
Yeah, I think it was he had the big question earlier with like 3 or 4 linebackers.
Okay.
Steve, aren't you taking notes? Pick 3, Gio, Mostert, Mike Davis, or Josh Jacobs? All right, somebody else take this one first because I'll get lost in the weeds again.
Jeez.
I'll tell you. Go for it.
I'd probably sit Bernard.
Yeah.
Thank you. Me too.
Just because of the offense, I don't trust them to, get down the field and keep drives alive and really give him a lot of opportunities.
Agreed.
Yep.
That's it. More of a sit 1 than pick 3, but
yeah, because Mike Davis. I mean, we know you can't sit Mike Davis. You can't sit Mostert. You could sit Josh Jacobs because of the injury thing, but still, a hurt Josh Jacobs, I mean, is going to be better than Giovanni Bernard. One of the girls, the ball blasting girls, this morning said something about convince me to play Terry McLaurin over Giovanni Bernard. And I was like, okay, I'll bite. So I told her basically, I was like, here's an analogy. I was like, being excited to play Gio versus the Cowboys is like being excited to play Mecole Hardman or Sammy Watkins with Hill out versus the Seahawks. The narrative is amazing, but the player is still the player. So you start Terry over Gio. That's just, it doesn't, don't get too caught up in the auxiliary stuff. Giovanni Bernard is Giovanni Bernard. His absolute ceiling is what? You know what I mean? 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, absolute ceiling. Raheem Mostert's absolute ceiling is 100 yards and a touchdown on the first play from scrimmage, and then everything else that comes after that. You know what I mean? That's just, Mike Davis, he's going to get so many touches. Denver's defense has been a little bit worse versus the run. And then Josh Jacobs, again, are you going to feel like first week of the playoffs putting Josh Jacobs on your bench, who you probably spent the first-round pick on, and you put Giovanni Bernard in his place? Come on. I hate that I just said come on because that's my least favorite thing that people say, but that's my thought process. Z-Mags again. Z-Mags, why'd you change your name from Z-Mags to Madgley Zach?
I was going to say.
Because I'm just calling you Z-Mags, and that's not what's in front of me. I'm just saying it. Adams against Chicago, though. Bad matchup. Yeah, but I mean, still Adams is Still Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Standard scoring. I don't know what that means. I guess that means like
IDP
no, he's talking about this.
Okay.
I
Okay,
still think
it doesn't change anything for me.
Because Gio's
no.
He's going to be more of a pass catching kind of thing anyway.
Exactly.
That's, people are going to be like his floor with the passes, but if that doesn't even really affect it, it doesn't matter. Definitely going to sit him. Morrow, Nicholas Morrow. That's who I thought.
Yep.
I wouldn't play Nicholas Morrow over Jordan Poyer, but I understand the appeal on sleeper because he does have the DB eligibility.
Right.
So if you are, you want to just get crazy and get weird, go for it. But not me, just lurking. 17. Derek Monk, pick 2. Jeremy Chin, Cameron Curl, and Antoine Winfield. That's the easy sit for me on Winfield.
Yep. Exactly.
After those first 2 weeks when he was just like, I am God.
Yeah.
He's literally just been like, I am man. Like,
what happened?
I'm so incapable. Like, he's on the field, and God knows they love zooming in on him every time a play happens, but he ain't touching the ball. Like, it's a mess. Yep. The problem is he's got 2 really good linebackers that are always there before him, in front of him.
Yep.
And he's got 2 other really good linebackers that are always there, at the quarterback. So, what up, Malone? Richard Malone, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend. Playoffs, man. Yeah, tell me about it, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get these wins. IDP Army, go forward. Be unapologetically beat your opponent and then dunk on them all week.
Yeah,
because you might lose next week and after it's over. So just dunk while
get
you
the most
dunk.
of it now.
Get
the most of it now.
That's why people are like, don't take a victory lap. I'm like, you gotta take your victory laps early and often because who knows when that shit's coming back around. I was replying to you guys starting right. Gotcha. Malone says Abram, Curl, AJ Terrell, start 1. That's easy. Curl.
Yep.
Terrell's been kind of a mess, and Abram has been a mess, in my opinion. Hurt and a mess. 2 things I don't want in my lineup. Big sloppy mess. Irrelevant for IDP, but I need help here. Well, we're here to help. T.Y. Hilton or Hollywood Brown, CEH or Duke Johnson. So 1 running back, 1 wide receiver.
It's T.Y. for me and Clyde for me.
Yeah, same. I know this is one of those things where the narrative spike is going to be like Duke Johnson. Get him into your lineups. There's no Brandon Cooks. There's no David Johnson.
So full disclosure.
God, give me a touchdown.
Full disclosure, I don't roster a lot of Duke Johnson, but has he ever really popped off when he's been the guy?
He popped off occasionally.
Random big games from him, and the rest of the time he is just useless.
When he was the main guy, though.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it's indicative. I don't think any of that has any bearing. I mean, it just happens. It's just like Nelly says in The Office. It's random. It's just like it just happens. Like he doesn't know when a big game's coming. We don't know when a big game's coming.
No, he just gives them to you when he's got them, and then
he can get 20 touches and shit the bed. He can get 7 touches and be a top 10 running back. He doesn't know. We don't know. No one knows. I'm with you. I go TY and I go CEH. Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
Like
rough, dude.
I sold all my shares. I was big on him in the offseason. I bought him. I went out and acquired him a lot of spots. And then I got out from under him a lot of spots because I was painfully aware of what managing Hollywood Brown is like. So even though I know T.Y. Hilton is basically just a different version of that, he's a better version of that.
He's been kind of getting a little more action lately too, as of late. So and Brown, for the most part.
The look of disgust on Jordan's face.
Yeah, geo-sealing. Yeah, exactly. That's basically geo-sealing and tack on like 2 touchdowns on accident.
See, we were trying to be nice.
See, that's what. If you get the two touchdowns on accident, then that's good. But you can't rely on those.
You cannot. Sebri EDU 26 from Periscope. DB question: 6 points for interceptions and sacks, 1 point per tackle. Cameron Curl, Tre'Davious White, and Wallace, Bills, Levi Wallace, and T. Mullins. So I guess are we supposed to pick one? Thanks, you guys are the best. Oh, come on. Come on. We're all right. All right, so what are we going to do here? Cameron Curl is if it's one. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Now, if you're starting multiples, are you starting Curl and one of the Bills DBs? And if so, who?
I'd probably lean Wallace in that one.
Yeah, being opposite of what's his face seems to work out for him.
Right. Usually how I've seem to have noticed is that if you have a corner that's kind of not a super shutdown guy, but you're going to look at him a little less, the other guy gets peppered, and with Pittsburgh, I think he's gonna see a lot of work.
Yeah, fair. And yeah, I like that. I think I'm gonna go Wallace and Curl. Nothing against Mullen. Thanks for tuning in, everybody who is here. Like, subscribe, share. You know the drill. IDP Army. We appreciate you. Check us out. We're live. Troy, what's up? Got Roquan and Blake. What are you guys thinking? Can only start one. I'm going Roquan. I know.
I'd probably lean Blake there.
Oh,
even with the injury thing, because they said they're even going to test him out this morning and see how things go.
That's fair. I guess to be safe, I'm not opposed to that.
And I mean,
Roquan's a dog. No, and Blake Martinez is a dog too. I love Blake Martinez, but
yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I go
Roquan.
Kind of a toss up.
Yeah, I'm not trying to disparage you or anything.
No, you're good.
All right, I got a question here from Twitter from somebody. So I'm just going to ask it here. Maybe he's here listening. Better add and start this week. Highsmith versus Buffalo, Clelin Ferrell against Indiana, Hendrickson versus Philadelphia, or Justin Houston versus Los Angeles. Add and play. Pick him up and play him.
I kind of like Highsmith.
I know, me too. Well, it's 100% not Clelin Ferrell, who literally, ignore him. He doesn't exist. He's vapor, okay? You're never going to play him. Do not go get him in Dynasty.
Vapor.
Do not regard him in any fashion whatsoever.
I think he's like Duke Johnson.
Or worse.
Worse.
100 times worse. Yeah, it feels like Highsmith. I still love me some Justin Houston. We saw he still has the upside that he's carried with him his whole career.
He disappears for so long.
Yeah. Again, but I mean, are you playing for the upside? I mean, what's Alex Highsmith's upside right now is like a sack. So you got to ask yourself some existential questions here.
Right.
Personally, I'm going Justin Houston.
He does.
I want to say Alex Highsmith, and I want to say Hendrickson against Philadelphia, but Hendrickson, I mean, here's the problem with Philadelphia and smash spots against them. Every time there's a smash spot for a defensive lineman against Philadelphia, it doesn't actually work out. Works out for everybody around him for some reason. But he just never, look at that Aaron Donald week when everyone's so hyped. They got one sack that week. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes it's easy to fall into the pit. Give me the old man who has 20 sack season upside, who has 3 sack a game upside, who got it last week. Just give me the old man. So I'm going to take Justin Houston versus Las Vegas. Got a safety last week too. He got so many. I mean, he's like discount JJ Watt. All right, Russell Mavis says, "What's up, Russ? Kaiser White thoughts top 20? No, isn't he? He's not even.
He's back. I think he's back. I think.
Dang.
I've been getting a lot of questions, so I have to assume that he's back. He was pretty irrelevant before he went on the IR for a while, at least.
He was, I put him a lot of spots. But top 20, no. Top 30, yeah. I played Kaiser White as a top 30 guy this week. Top 40 guy this week.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah, me too. Derek Monk, start to Montez Sweat, Brian Burns, JJ Watt, Draymond Jones. Man, that's some heat right there.
I like Sweat and Watt.
Ooh.
Or Burns and Watt.
Why do you hate Brian Burns?
Yeah.
I don't hate Brian Burns.
I'm just kidding. I know. I have Brian Burns the highest in my rankings this week because he gets Denver. Brian Burns is so freaking good. Like like last year, it was like, oh, Nick Bosa, Max Crosby, Josh Allen. I think going forward, the top 3 dogs are going to be Brian Burns, Montez Sweat, and Nick Bosa, and then like Chase Young, like in that area. And if you're in sleeper, obviously, TJ Watt should be at the top of your defensive line list. And then Myles Garrett. But anyway, for this week, I'm going to go Burns and Sweat. That's no shade on Watt necessarily, but I don't know how often they're going to drop back to pass against Houston. I know he gets a shit ton of tackles and tackles for loss, but I'm just going to stick with my rankings and go Sweat and Burns. Just pick one, please. Did we just pick the one? All right. Cam Curl.
Yep.
IDP Army, TJ Watt jersey was looking good. Yeah, it's somewhere. It's in my laundry over there. I put up the Mahomes jersey today. They're both good jerseys. Cameron Curl or Bell must win.
Curl.
No hesitation. Yeah, Curl's higher in my rankings this week too. I have liked that Von Bell has been coming on a little bit stronger here towards the end of the season, but
it was because I crapped on him all over my starts and sits one week, and then he decided to go have the week of his life.
There you go.
Score more points in 1 week than he has the rest of the season. But
gotta give him the juju.
I'm not salty.
Obviously. Man, this is a tough one. Matt, Spam Subi. I'm gonna call you Subi. Says, good morning, guys. I'm in a bind. All right, start 3. Bobby Wagner, Avery Williamson, Todd Davis, Tay Crowder, Nick Kwiatkowski, or LVE. Start 3.
I like Wagner. I like Crowder. And I like Williamson.
Interesting. I'm going Wagner, LVE, and Williamson. I think LVE he's been kind of a not like forgotten man this year, but I feel like he's, as the third in that group between him and Avery Williamson, I really like him a lot. So that's where I go. I like Tay Crowder a lot in Dynasty and this week too as well. But Derek Monk, I benched Miles Sanders for Gallman. Thoughts? Man, I don't know. I don't have Miles Sanders or Gallman in any leagues. I have Miles Sanders maybe in one. I'm sorry for your loss.
No, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Gallman's been fine, and then Sanders, they're just not using him. So
yep, exactly.
Who'd have thunk? That's another one of my I was on my late night tweet rampage. I went through all my bookmark tweets from over the summer, and I retweeted one where I said, the Eagles will have an RBBC in 2020. Deal with it. And it's a video, it's like a gif of Carson Wentz spiking the ball and like falling over because he's a failure. It was super meta on like 1,000 levels. It was amazing.
Nice.
All right, Richard Malone back again. Laviska Shenault or Jeff Wilson, super flex. That's tough. I'm leaning Shenault.
I lean that way as well. I just think with the whole committee backfield with San Fran, nah.
Agreed. Agreed. Tyler Collins from YouTube. Should I trust Blake Martinez being a last second start? Other options are Zach Cunningham and Joe Schobert.
If you want to pivot to Joe Show, I don't mind that one bit.
Yeah, I don't mind either as a pivot, but I'm still probably going to just try to just ride out Martinez. Again, it's one of those things where who do I want in my lineup versus my bench? As long as he plays and they say he's going to be fine, I mean, I believe Blake Martinez. Like, he doesn't miss games, really,
That's true.
So that's another thing that you just got to credit to him, too. And you got to account for certain things like that. Again, it's not just about who plays the most snaps. Sometimes it's about who just plays the games,
Right.
No shade at Darius Leonard, but we know from time to time he is known to step off the field. Same with Jamal Adams, which if you're going to give guys knocks versus their other top contenders, you got to give, you got to do it. Montez Sweat, Tuitt, or Alden Smith, pick 2. That's pretty easy for me. I'm going Tuitt and Sweat.
Yep.
Yeah, I lean the
Smith's
same
been a
way.
real big letdown after those big games.
That first few weeks, yeah.
Yeah, he was the number one defensive line player like 2 of the first 4 weeks, and then since then he's just been kind of a
Average guy.
just an IDP flex kind of situation.
Yeah.
Sweat and Tua are both top 12 right now through the whole season, so or they were. I think they're top 15 now, maybe. I don't know. I think I have the leaderboards here, but I won't bore you with that. Josh Speyer again. What's up, man? In Dynasty, I traded away Cameron Curl for Micah Kaiser. Okay. Not trying to win this year. Did I win the trade? I think you did.
Yeah. Well, because Curl's role is not secure going forward. And I mean, granted, I don't think Kaiser's is either. But, I think you always take a linebacker over a DB that has more likelihood at the role at least. So I'd take it.
Yeah, I agree. And we know that was Kaiser's job. Nobody had to get hurt for Kaiser to have that job.
True.
So in Dynasty, that's something you definitely look at. And the Rams are cheap. They didn't want to keep Littleton in that system. They got Kaiser in the system. He's a second-year player. So, they're not going to have to pay him next year. So, unless somebody really breaks out this year, he's just going to plop right back in that role and be a top 10, linebacker next year again. So I love that trade. Especially if you're not trying to win this year. You probably got Cameron Curl on the waiver wire. Granted, the guy who you traded for Mike Kaiser might have done the same, but should I start Stephon Tuitt or Sam Hubbard? Oof, that might be the most compelling question of the day.
Yeah, it's closer. At first glance, I want to say Tuitt, but I think it's a lot closer when you dive in.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree. I have Tuitt higher in my rankings, but we know Hubbard has like one of the safest tackle floors in the league at defensive line. We know he has one of the safest, most secure snap shares. Not to say Tuitt doesn't have either of those things, but Tuitt is also on a team where there's a lot more guys eating, which causes disruption in big plays, but also like maybe those plays don't funnel to him this week.
Sure.
Whereas if anything good happens for the Cincinnati line, it's usually happening to Hubbard. But I'm still leaning to it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And that's tough. I have Sam Hubbard a little lower than him in my rankings, but I still am leaning to it.
Yeah.
So,
I gotta agree.
Agreed. Agba or Gregory from Bob Nixon?
Agba.
Yeah, that's pretty easily Agba for me as well. He's been really good this year. Definitely breaking out. People said Miami needed edge help. If you look at their chart, their depth chart, defensive line, they got a ton of guys.
Yeah.
Van Noy, they got Agba, they got, was it Tillery or Christensen, Shaq Lawson or Thompson or Lawson?
Shaq Lawson, yeah.
They got other guys there too. They drafted a kid, Coughlin. Was it Carter Coughlin that they got, or was it Weaver?
Yeah.
Weaver, one of those two. I think
want to say it was Weaver.
Who was graded out really high this year, ended up falling. So, all right, y'all, keep those questions rolling. If you got more, I finally got us caught up. So I'm going to put us in big mode. Let's pull up the defensive line leaderboard. I just updated this stuff. So, yeah, as you can just see here, this is IDP 123, the leaderboard through the regular season. Week 13. So Agba finished. For whatever reason, this is the top 14. That's just how this graphic ended up being 7-7. So Agba's over here at 9, 10, 11. So top 12 DL this year. Shocking. Leonard Williams right behind him. That's probably the most shocking thing about this year when I put this together. Leonard Williams, a guy who I just wrote off Clelin Ferrell as vapor. I had completely written off Leonard Williams as vapor, but with the New York Giants, he seems to have some new life in him.
Yeah,
exactly.
You have any thoughts or strong convictions or anything of what do you think about Leonard Williams? Just for anybody that's still here listening to us yabber on.
Yeah, I think as a whole, people are sleeping on the Giants. I think they are, as weird as it is to say, I think them and football team might be in the best position to actually do something in that division going forward. And I just think that everybody on that defense, like you mentioned, Blake Martinez, Peppers, those two guys are really kind of leading the charge in the Giants' resurgence of their defense, and Williams will play right into that. I think he's a vet at this point. He's what, a 6 year player at this point.
I think at least 4. I think he might be 4.
He's been around a hot minute, and I think he kind of brings a veteran presence too. And he wanted to get out of the Jets, and he's over there, and I think he's really. We're true, yeah, no kidding. And he's bought into that scheme, and I just think that he's been. I do a Stream Team article. He was in there 2 weeks in a row, and he popped off, which was awesome. But he's definitely coming along. And it's nice to see. World needs more good defensive linemen. So
yeah, especially interior, exterior kind of guys that can play around. This is the leaderboard for linebackers. I was kind of in my bag the other day about TJ Watt, but I'm always in my bag about TJ Watt being the number 1 linebacker and the number 1 defensive line player, and he's got like a 50-point lead over the next defensive line player. That is some Travis Kelce-esque stuff right there. Got a couple more questions here, it looks like, coming in. All right, from J Good S1 on YouTube. Shaq Barrett, LVE, or Todd Davis, pick 1. I go without knowing the scoring. I would lean LVE, but I would play Shaq Barrett. They get Minnesota. That's a good matchup for defensive line players. They run a lot, so there should be plenty of tackle opportunities. It's going to be just a good game. I think both sides turn the ball over a couple of times, so I like Shaq Barrett's odds to be involved in the Tampa Bay side of that.
Yeah, I think I lean the same way.
Mm-hmm. Just about the upside. Infinity Excalibur. Late, but here. What's up, man? Shauna didn't show up today. Oh, Shauna. I know she made the playoffs. She was talking about last week. Does anyone know who is replacing Awuzie, Dallas cornerback, today? I don't.
Nope.
I'm looking into it right now.
All right, we got our best detective on it. Detective Chef Steve.
Mm-hmm.
No mystery too big, no onion too small.
I hate onions.
What?
I love onions, man. My favorite vegetable.
Really?
You gotta saute them up.
I love Brussels sprouts.
Oh man, we got some peeps on the old Twitter sphere. What are y'all saying to me up in here? Bob, tell us about your new gig over at Dynasty Rewind.
So I've been in talks with Mike over there for a while, and he read a lot of my stuff, likes my content, and they were looking for an IDP guy, and I'm a big Dynasty guy. That's I'm in 16 leagues right now, and all but 2 of them are Dynasty, so I'm bigger on that than I am redraft by far. And no, I mean, chatting with them and the boys over there, they're a cool group and all that, so we got some big things coming this offseason, so I'm looking forward to it a lot and see what we can do.
Yes, sir. IDP is growing. I got a message from a guy yesterday. They said basically he can, he's been playing IDP for a while, and he knows he can tell that it's getting bigger. I get messages like that, kind of not like all the time, but I get a lot of positive feedback from just people that play IDP, both from our website and on Twitter and on Facebook, kind of saying that IDP is kind of going through a renaissance or a revival. And I'm like, fuck yeah, it is. So we're about that, and we're going to make sure that doesn't stop. And like he said, I mean, this guy's on Dynasty Rewind. Y'all know they mess around with some of those guys are with the Dynasty Nerds. We got the connections are growing, the cohesiveness, the group. I don't want to say group think, but the collective mind is moving forward with this, and the consciousness, and it's being brought to the forefront of fantasy football, especially as more people are looking at more unique formats, looking at better formats, looking at ways to improve their league. So follow my man here, IDP Bob on Twitter. Follow us, follow guys at the Big Three. There's a lot of forward-thinking people moving IDP in the right direction, and we are happy to be a part of that. And we know, I kind of had a wake up call this last week, kind of when I was kind of running my mouth about TJ Watt, and somebody sent a screenshot of this draft and was like, well, he was actually drafted composite linebacker 8, and I was like, man, I really started thinking about it, and it's like, the needle is moving, and I'm starting to realize that, we actually, the position we're in to move the needle, like I remember 2 years ago for sure, there's no world in which TJ Watt was drafted in the top 10. But I screamed and threw a bitch fit all last year about him because that's just what I did. And somehow he's in the top 10 now. And I don't want to say I'm taking all the credit for that, but I'm like, I'm seeing that, it matters what we say. So we got to be saying the right things, and we have to be empowering people to win their leagues. Those people, I'm sure, are very happy that they took TJ Watt where they did, because he ended up panning out, and viewing him as such, a playmaker for your team. So it's good to have more and more IDP people on the scene. And what do you got for us, Steve?
Well, it looks like it would have been Anthony Brown, but he is out also. So it's Deontay Burton who's going to be starting for Wouzier.
Is he good?
I don't think so.
What's his PFF grade on minimum 500 snaps?
Oh, you're gonna make me look up this too?
No, I'm just joking around. Let's
say I can look it up if you want, but
I'm just being a troll. Thanks, guys. Winfield or Micah Hyde? Man, that's actually tough. Hyde is like a dependable kind of just lunch pail defensive back 3.
Sure.
Don't look at him. He'll never. He was like the second defensive back on the week, like a week or 2 ago, though. So
I benched him, and he did.
He can pop.
I watched him explode on my bench.
Don't you love it when guys just explode all over your bench?
I think I had a great week that week anyway, though. I was like,
Steve, I've seen you in a lot of leagues. I haven't seen many great. Most of your great weeks happen on your bench, from what I've.
Yeah. Well, I had a great week all around that week, though.
Oh, okay.
One of my rare weeks.
Rare. I was like, I must have missed that one.
I had a few at the beginning of the season too. I went to a 3-0 start, and then it was like downhill from there.
I'm just fucking with you, buddy.
Oh, it's all right. We all have bad seasons,
I don't. I'd have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I had a great year. So.
Yeah, I did have a really good year this year. I'm happy, but I mean, it's not over. I mean, like a great year is fine. Get me to the end, and get me that Venmo, get me that trophy sent, get all that stuff taken, and then we can talk about how good the year really was.
True.
It feels good now, to be in it, but I have a feeling I'll be feeling a little differently in about 3 hours in 1 or 2 spots, and
I'm sure
that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of questions here on Twitter that I'm kind of having trouble like deciphering what exactly he wants me to help him with, though. He's like asking about his linebacker spot, but it looks like he's got most of his good guys in, so I don't really think I'm going to bring that up with us. Yeah, anybody still out there watching in the World Wide Web on YouTube, all that, like, subscribe, ask us questions. We'll be here another, 5-10 minutes, whatever. Answer your IDP questions, and we gotta go set our own lineups and get ready for the day.
So in the meantime, let's let Bob tell us about what he does.
Yeah, those graphics have been nice. Those start sit graphics, I love those, and I love how you have one half of them be question marks.
Yeah, well, clickbait season,
I know, but, it's good. It's really good, because I'm like, oh shit, okay, I like this. I'm like, oh man, there's nothing over here.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I do, my written content at Fantasy Six Pack. I just started up back in August, so I'm still kind of new to the whole content game and getting a feel for everything. But I've talked with you, been able to engage in the community, and I feel very welcome, and I love it. And I'm just trying to put out as much content as I can, and also focus on it being quality. But that's obviously number one, and then everything else is kind of extra. But and then, like you mentioned before, joining on with Dynasty Rewind. I'm really excited with them, like I said, because Dynasty is my thing. I love tracking stuff in the off season, watching the quote unquote boring stuff like the combine. I eat that shit for breakfast, and And then you get to the draft, all that, then all the, we didn't really have it this year with all the training camp news. I love all that stuff. That's where I'm at home, taking all that in. And so I'm really excited to see what we can do with them, what I can do with them. And then next year, who knows what it's going to be like, working with both Six Pack and Dynasty Rewind. But man, I'm a workhorse. I'm excited to get into it. And yeah, I mean, like you said with the graphics, I when I was able to put my first one together, I'm like, all right. And then I just kind of tweak it every week, and and I appreciate you shouting out the start sits, because that's one of my favorite ones I put up. But
I love shit like that. So many people, I understand wanting to just deep dive everything. I get it, but that's for the off season. Like when you're in this shit, just tell me what people want is they just want your opinion. What would you do in this situation? So you just gotta get it. And maybe someone else doesn't agree with you. Okay, I'm just saying if this was my roster and this person was available, this is who I start and who I sit. Like that's what people want. They want consumable, actionable, pragmatic information. Yeah. And I feel like some people put not that there's anything wrong with putting a lot of effort into it, and trying to address every small nuance and detail, but it's what is the reward? What is the return on that? What is the audience really getting from that? And that's kind of like where I kind of realized little simple things like fleeting stuff, just tweeting. Just tweeting out stuff. You don't have to write a giant article every time you think of something. Just tweet it out there. Put it out there for somebody's eyes to take in, and they can digest and do what they want. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just about making the information consumable and useful, and that's, so I think some people in the space get a little high and mighty with how they deliver and how they, kind of present things. But it's just at the end of the day, you just want to help people. And if this helps somebody, you're just doing your silly little graphics. People love that shit. Okay. I'm not doing it for you. I didn't make this graphic for you. I made it for the 20 people that are like, man, that was awesome. You said what they want, and, you're doing the right thing with that. I like that. I love the way I love that approach. I wish I had thought of it first. So, especially the start sit thing, because this is kind of our start sit format. But I've always thought, it would be more interesting to do just go through game by game, even say this versus this, and just like what you do, And I love that. I love it. And adding my fantasy league, that's the one thing I do love about my fantasy league is they put everything in front of everybody's eyes. So
huge help. That's such a boost to getting in front of people, because I want to post to my followers too, obviously, and I love engaging with them. I've met a lot of cool people. I've met people not down the road, but in my state, in a town that I practically grew up in. It's just kind of be able to engage with not only them but everybody. It's been awesome, and like you said, putting out quick hitting content, I think is very underrated.
We're a scrolling society.
People don't want to read long articles. They want to see.
Nothing against an article either.
Exactly.
It has to be consumable. That's one thing I've been told myself this year. Top of my list is engaging, entertaining, but also consumable. And that's kind of why I'm I said the other day, I tweeted we're going to put a little bit more work into our YouTube channel, because we get more interaction from our YouTube channel than we do really from the podcast, and it's just if that's where people want to consume us, that's where we're going to make ourselves available.
Exactly. You got to go where the people are.
Exactly. You can't, the market dictates the reality. I mean, you can sit there and want one thing all day long, but that's kind of my stance with IDP 123 scoring too. It's okay, I get that some people don't like it. The reality is those there are 3 or 4 people, and those people cannot like it for whatever their reasons are, but almost everybody I've talked to loves it. I mean, people I don't even speak to, I see people on, on Reddit, on Facebook talking about it, and I'm I don't know these people at all, but they've adopted it. So, I mean, the market has shown me that it's not only viable, but it's, enjoyable. I don't have to sell it. They're just picking it up. So, it is what it is. If you want to make it in this market, you don't give people what you think they need, give them what they want. Yep. That's the best advice I give to any of the dozen people that are listening to me rant on right now. All right, Byard or Eddie Jackson? I'm going to go with, they're both kind of big up play, big play kind of guys. Low floor, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably lean towards Byard, though, just because I like that Tennessee defense is kind of beat up right now, so I think maybe it'll be a little bit more available to him. Nothing
Yeah, I
against
lean the
Jackson.
same way.
I love A. Jackson, but he's not a guy I ever feel comfortable having in my lineup.
Yeah,
You know,
he's very, very hit and miss.
Yeah, and I feel like he misses a little bit more often, and Byard's just got a little bit better floor. Big thanks. Okay, start to Burton, Bengals highest to DBs. Zach Cunningham, Bears are low to LBs. Greenlaw, the highest percentage of linebackers. Avery Williams start 2. Okay, Burton. Is that a tight end?
No, Burton is the. I think he's talking about the. And you talking about the Cowboys
Oh,
cornerback?
Is that the guy you just brought up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would start of those two, or just two. I would start Avery Williamson and Zach Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed, 100%.
That's where I would go. So, got another one here from Samuel Smith. Good morning, IDP. Oh, well, good morning. Linville Joseph or Anyamata this week? We'll go Anyamata.
With it. Yep.
My buddy at work has put me on to him a week or two ago and was like, yo, what do you think about this guy? I was like, I don't know. Because I'll admit it, I'm not perfect. I'm a known Saints hater. I do love some players on the Saints, but I'm not a big Saints fan.
Sure.
And I've just not been paying attention to Anyamata. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, he's actually doing some good things out here. So he's definitely a viable option. Linval Joseph is like gross. Like you play him in IDP. I mean, I would love him as a DT2, like DT2. I don't want him anywhere near a DL lineup to save my life. Anyamata, I would play Anyamata in a DL spot, based on kind of what he's been doing this year. And Linval Joseph is just like, he's just getting old and frumpy. Give me that new hotness.
The new hotness.
Yeah. I'm just a regular old dude, okay? I'm not even an IDP expert. I've never actually played, so. Start Chris Godwin or Deontay Johnson. Man. Oh, this is tough. I'm so biased here because
you are.
I'm obsessed with Chase Claypool, so I just even though I'm a Steelers fan, I actively root against Deontay Johnson. I'm like, yeah, you dropped that ball, you idiot. Throw it to Claypool. Come on. That's literally all I do all the time I watch Steelers games. But Big Ben does what he does, which is just hone in on Deontay Johnson and say, hey, you want 25 targets today? And I'm like, dude, throw 25 targets to Chase Claypool for God's sake, please.
Right.
So I start Chris Godwin. I'm benching Deontay Johnson. He's a bum. Yeah.
Same way for me.
Scrub. Get him out of here.
Godwin has disappointed me so much this season, though.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I don't claim to be giving good advice at this point. So,
no, I'd start Godwin too, but I mean, he's just he's been so disappointing so many times this season. You put him in, and you're like, oh, that's all he got. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even get into it. I've done way too much today. All right, Jay Good S1. Any reason to keep stashing Isaiah Simmons? Oh, yeah. Any chance he gets unleashed over the last few weeks? Yes, my man.
Very good chance.
Today.
Yeah, if you saw my article on Dynasty Nerds, he was one of the guys in the last quarterly report that I had projected on the up and up. The snaps have been a little bit better. He's been playing better. I mean, he's scoring in multiple ways, like we said earlier. It's not just tackles. He has had a high tackle game. He's also had 2 sacks. You know what I mean? He hasn't missed but 1 tackle all season. Things are definitely trending up for Isaiah Simmons. And if you're on Sleeper, he's like the very rare, actually useful linebacker DL that you can play that's in a DL spot that's actually like a true middle linebacker. So you can pad your stats a little bit if you're afraid of a boom bust kind of situation.
Sure.
But he could also boom because he had a pick 6 to end the game this year, and he's had 2 sacks, playing on minimal snaps. So, if we're talking, impact plays per snap, I mean, even if he's not playing a lot of snaps, he's getting a lot of points per the snaps he's on the field. So,
yeah, you're going to continue to stash him.
Yeah, definitely stash him. Guy with a first-round pick. Yeah, good. Come on.
Well, I mean, there are guys that are first-round picks that flame out. I mean, obviously, but
I just said it again. I said, come on, man.
He did.
Another guy on that same team, Hassan Reddick, first round pick at linebacker. Show up.
Yeah, it looked like he was about to pop off this year, and then
he did.
Yeah,
he did. We just probably didn't play him when it mattered.
Yeah, well, ever since then he's been
Garbage.
Nothing again.
I love fantasy football. It's great.
It's a wild sport.
Kiki
Wild
QT or Hilton? I'm going Kiki because there's nobody else there.
Yeah.
Stills is gone. Fuller's gone. Cooks is gone. Kiki QT is just a volume play at this point, but I'm just not playing him. He had like 100 and something yards last week. First time anyone even gave a shit about him. All right. Simmons or Shaq Barrett? Ooh, it's tough. I'm starting Barrett because I'm still a little unsure of what exactly Shaq's role is going to be.
Yeah, if you find out that Campbell's out and you can still get Simmons in, I'd make that switch then, but
yeah. Don't let me start my hate on Barrett.
What up, Kevin? Hey, what's up, guys? Thoughts on Swift right now? I have no dynasty shares of Swift, and I have little to no personal interest in any. That's my thoughts.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have one, and I wouldn't say I'm worried, but I'm sweating a little bit, you know.
You look worried over there.
Yeah, well, because I mean, you figure when you get into a situation where he had the concussion, and then he has you hear AP talking that he just doesn't seem right. That's like big red flags. It's just like
he doesn't look right.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, because how this concussion thing goes is like sometimes these guys concuss themselves right out of the league. And and that's kind of like I'm not panic selling yet or anything like that. But if you can get a good deal, man, maybe buy it or sell out rather. But my 2 cents.
Those Lions running backs, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, just bad luck there.
Yeah, it's terrible. Maybe they just need to keep AP around for a while.
Yeah, no kidding. He's got what 4 or 5 years left in him. You think?
Probably at least.
Minimum.
They're gonna run the tread right off that guy.
Yeah, no kidding. That's unreal.
So he also is on the Lions, which when's the last? I mean, you know the drill. Don't do it. Sell him. Next time he has a big pop off game, and I know it's gonna be harder. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Just do it. Just do it. Get rid of him.
Never own Lions.
Try and get Terry McLaurin or something like that. I have Deontay at the flex. My bench is T.Y. Hilton, Swift Sanders, and DeAndre Washington. Yeah,
Hilton.
I'd roll with that.
Yeah, even though I was just talking all that trash about Deontay Johnson, that's because the option was Chris Godwin. Right. I'm not playing any of those other guys over him.
Not putting Hilton in. Okay,
I might play Sanders, but that's because I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't even, but it's a flex. Like, again, like he's not, I could never stomach seeing Sanders in like my running back one spot, or Swift. So, at least right now.
Yeah. That
may change. Late season breakout for Jordan Brooks. Yes, the snaps have been there. He did have 11 or 12 tackles a week or two ago. He's played 70-ish% of snaps. Yeah, I mean, he could be a linebacker 3 for you. With some upside.
Yeah. Agreed.
Kevin, again, thanks for the advice, guys. Also, pick one, JPP or DeForest Buckner. I'm going JPP.
Yeah, me as well.
He's just been too good this year, my man. Here, I'll pull this up for you real quick. I mean, look, he's the number 3 overall defensive line player, 190 points. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He's been great. Yeah, it's been a little bit unpredictable, but I mean, he's a walking big play. This is my life. I woke up this morning looking at the ceiling, thinking about how JPP was maybe the most underrated pass rusher in the league right now. That's what I woke up and my first thought was. I was like, the dude has came back from a broken neck last year. He's missing fingers. And it's because I woke up from a dream where I was thinking about shooting off bottle rockets. That's why.
Okay.
But anyway, and I was just I'm like, look at what he's done the last 2 years. He had almost 10 sacks last year. He only played 9 games. This year, he's put himself in the conversation as a top guy. It sucks, but there's a bias in the football community, which is the PFF bias. He doesn't grade out very well on PFF right now, so you don't hear him talked about. Sucks, but on the field, he's getting shit done. Interception this year, tons of tackles for losses, sacks. He just he gets home. He's not just creating pressures. He's actually putting up stats. But because his PFF grade is 18, 25, we don't talk about him. We'd rather talk about a guy with 4 sacks but a 90 PFF grade.
Yeah.
And at some point, you just gotta throw your hands up and say, "Get the fuck out of here with that shit." Schobert or Martinez this week? Martinez. We had this question earlier, right?
Yeah, well,
Similar,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, we went Martinez earlier. I think we're sticking with it.
as long as he's in the game.
Yeah.
David Tan. I'm on bye for the playoffs this week. Trust Bosa, Cameron Jordan for weeks 15 and 16. I don't trust Cameron Jordan.
Yeah.
I would much rather have Montez Sweat in my lineup and Bosa than Cameron Jordan.
Yeah.
That's without looking at their matchups, but I'm a person who like matchups matter, but they don't matter as much to me as I feel like they matter to a lot of people. I always say just give me the player over the narrative. Like give me, and this season Montez Sweat has just been really good, and Cameron Jordan's just been really okay. So I'd rather play really good than really okay. That's me.
Nah, I'm with you there.
Thanks, guys. I'm in the playoffs and need every point I can get. Appreciate the help. Yeah, anytime, man. Good luck. Don't forget us in the off season. Share, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know all that stuff. David Tan, more concerned about Jordan. See, he's on the same wavelength already. Yeah, we're definitely more concerned about him. And look at the defense too. I mean, like, you're on the Washington Redskins defense, or not Redskins, Washington football team's defense.
Yep.
This is a good unit. This Washington football team is a good team. It's taking people a while to see that, but they're a good football team with Alex Smith at the helm. Disruptive playmakers, first-round picks all over the place, young, hungry, got a chip on their shoulder. Give me that over the Saints, who are a little bit entitled, feel themselves a little too much, get a little old at a lot of the positions that matter.
Here's some more bias too.
I know. I mean, I am what I am, and I'm a football fan, and I am a IDP fantasy football commentator. So I can hate on Saints players if they give me enough reason to. So yeah, Summer Water 15, Schobert, Jack, Leonard, or Olaku need one. All right, this is easy. It's got to be Leonard. I mean, back to our early thesis, who do you want to lose with on your bench? Do you want to be the number one overall linebacker in every format and every list that ever existed? No. So put him in your lineup and move forward in power, my friend. And he's got, it's like, where did we get to a point in our lives where we're thinking about benching Darius Leonard? Like, what got us here?
Well, I mean, nothing really.
Like, let me see. Where
he had a couple of, I mean, they weren't horrible games. They just weren't.
They weren't big pop-off games.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it. Jesus,
sorry, go ahead.
My bad. But I think it boils down to, you have one game or several games where you have Leonard in your lineup and you see these guys pop off. I think you kind of get that like, oh man, if I would have just put him in instead. And I think it kind of, plant seeds of doubt throughout the season. But, at the end of the day, like you said, you got to go with the LB1.
The LB1.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I agree.
So, all right, y'all, we're going to give you 5 more minutes, and then we are going to go, have a little self-care, watch some football, eat some junk food.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Thanks for coming on, Bob. I know it's been
no problem, man.
I know it's a lot to ask sometimes for people to give an hour and a half of their time away to just talk to strangers on the internet. But
time flies by.
Not all heroes wear capes, as they say. So.
Nah, man. Thanks for having me. This has been awesome. So anytime, feel free to reach out. I'm, most mornings I'm available, and if you can let me know the day before, I'm usually pretty okay to hop on. So,
word.
So yeah, just because I run the Twitter help desk sometimes for Six Pack. So if I'm not doing that, I'm happy to jump on if you need somebody. So
nice. Yeah.
Posted.
We're going to do, like I said, we're going to be focusing more to anyone who's listening to. We're going to be focusing more on the channel going forward. Not that I'm like abandoning the podcast or anything, or not doing stuff with Dynasty Nerds, but we're gonna treat this baby right. She's been good to us. We do a lot of things on YouTube. We got a lot of interaction over there. Something we didn't really pay a lot of attention to, or we didn't put at the forefront early on. But like I said, as the audience is growing there, we're gonna do that. I'm looking at more live streaming. We'll definitely be doing mock drafts on here. We'll be having more guests on from time to time. We have like an idea for maybe I don't want to give too much away, but we got some ideas in the works. We're going to upgrade here and there and everywhere. If anyone wants to help us out, by the way, IDP Army, the website, we're still working on it. I mean, it gets a lot of visits. I was kind of shocked to see how many people go on it, considering how I don't ever do anything there, and I'm ashamed of that. So if anyone knows anything about like web design or like wants to like help like get us a little more streamlined with that, hit us up, DM me, DM Steve. The IDP Army needs soldiers, you know what I mean? And winning leagues is awesome, and we got to do that. We got to help everybody else do that too. So,
Exactly.
Got a couple more questions here. Any injury update on Kaiser? I have Reader. I haven't heard anything.
I mean, he's still on IR for at least this week yet, so he's eligible to be designated to return, but then we'll kind of have to see what his practice schedule lays out for the week, and if he's full practice, then he's going to be good to go. But I honestly, from the little bits and what I've read, there's no real sense of urgency to bring him back. I think they'd rather have him for a playoff run than have him in the season. And I believe, I want to say it was a groin, or was it a chest injury that
remember
knocked him out.
A couple of injuries this year too.
Yeah. So I mean,
thing as well at some point. So he's just a little bit busted up.
Yeah. So I mean, I try to pay attention to practice reports. He'll be somebody I go over. I look at injuries every week and bring that up at some point. But
yeah, guys, gals, follow Bob. He's definitely filling in the gaps and spots where guys like me just can't get into it or haven't got into it, or sometimes miss stuff. So make sure you add a little bit of IDP juice to that timeline on the old Twitter sphere. Rate my defense. All right, what you got for us, Kev? JPP, Alex Singleton, Eric Wilson, Roquan Smith, Jordan Poyer, Justin Simmons, and Justin Reed. That is some rosterbation right there. I'm going to give you – all right, Roquan's an A plus, Singleton is a B, JPP's an A, Eric Wilson's an A, Jordan Poyer's an A. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a solid A team. A plus. I mean, like, your worst player is Justin Reed, who's been great this year. So I'll give you an A. You rock. Any tough graders out there? What you guys got? Steve has no comment. What do you guys have for starting defensive players? Who? Oh, man, on my main league, I mean, in one of my main leagues, I got TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, I got Roquan, I have Jalen Smith, I've got Zach Cunningham, I've got Jeremy Chin, I got Jabril Peppers in a lot of spots, which I love. I got some good teams. I mean, I basically made the playoffs in every single IDP league I'm in except for two, I think, 2 or 3.
Yeah, same.
And a lot of that's on the back of having TJ Watt basically everywhere and having Jalen Smith a lot of places. That's why I was kind of like hesitant telling me to sit Jalen Smith. It's like he's just been good to me this year.
Sure.
Like, he hasn't been the number one overall linebacker any week this season. Yeah, I'll give him that. And yeah, his play has been subpar on the field more often than not. But he's still putting up numbers, and he still got paid, and he's still young, and he's still healthy. I mean, he's got a lot of things going for him. A lot of guys don't. So, what are you gonna do?
For sure.
Yep. All right, Kev, appreciate you. All right, IDP Army, we're gonna dip set out of here. Good luck today. If you're, you get knocked out of the playoffs, we accept no responsibility for that. We'll be here next week if you make it and need more help. Yeah, we appreciate you. Anybody got any parting words before I shut us down?
No, I think we're good here today.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, thanks for having me. This has been awesome. Thanks for everybody for the questions, keeping us busy this morning. Happy to help. And like you said, best of luck to all of you.
Yep. Kev, if you're doing Dynasty, I'm going to go with look for the 7th to 9th round for your first defensive player. Don't be the first guy to take a defensive player, but don't be afraid to take a defensive player high. There you go.
Yep, exactly. I like
All
it.
right. We're shutting this puppy down. See y'all next week. Good luck.